So the first thing we're going to go over on the tool is how to create an account. So to go ahead and do that, it's pretty simple. Up in the header, there is a create account drop-down menu. So you can go ahead and click on that. It's going to ask you for some pretty basic information, your email, password, confirm your password, first name, last name, phone number, state or province, and of course the yes, I agree to be contacted by Wausau Supply. So if you're ever walking somebody through creating an account here, I would stress that they click that yes, I agree to be contacted by Wausau. It's great for leads. And then you can actually market to those users and send them some information. So once you have your account created, to go ahead and sign in, it's pretty simple as well. Just go ahead and hover over the sign in drop-down menu. This is going to prompt you to enter your email and your password. Of course, along the way, if you forget your password, you can always click on the forgot password option and it'll prompt you to change it there. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Perfect. The next little call to action that I'll go over is the contact us. So this is a great option for users who are browsing the visualizer, who maybe have made some designs. They can go ahead and click contact us, and it's going to take you right to the Diamond Code contact us form. And this is where a user can enter if they're a homeowner, first name, last name, city, all the basic information there. And from there they can get some information. So that is the contact us call to action. The next is actually going to be a link back to Waudena.com, which is just over here on the left-hand header. You can go ahead and click the logo, and it's going to take you to Waudena.com here. So a lot of great links already in the visualizer here for the user. So, anytime they need any kind of information, they can find it right on the visualizer. The next call to action here is the legacy link. So what this is it's a link to the older version of the visualizer. So, for any users who maybe have some projects that they want to revisit that are on the older version of the tool, they can go ahead and click here. And what that'll do is it'll take you to the legacy, what we call legacy link to the Wausau visualizer. So they can go ahead and log in, gain access to any of their older projects there. So again, that was in this little bar here. All right, so now we're gonna hop right into the different functionality of the visualizer here. But before we do that, I'm just gonna throw in the chat here so everyone knows where to throw in their questions. Awesome, okay. So the first thing we're going to go over is the sample homes here. So you can access the sample homes on the left-hand side of the screen here, or click on the option in the header as well. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my sample homes. And what sample homes are is they are a collection of homes that have already been digitally prepared by the RentalWorks Design Services team, so that a user can just hop right into the visualizer and begin designing. So these really come in handy if you maybe don't have a photo of the home you want to work with, or you just want to quickly show somebody, what some different products look like on a home. So you can go ahead and click on a home, and as you can see here, we have the different layers on the home highlighted, letting me know that I can go ahead and begin adding some products here. So that is sample homes here. So as you can see, there's a collection of different styles here. We have some entry door options. And I'm going to go over applying products and the different aspects of the toolbar while you're in the design phase just a little bit later here. But again, sample homes are a great way to hop right into designing. Awesome. All right, so the next thing we're going to hop into is actually the DIY portion. So if we want to click on new project, and of course DIY stands for do it yourself. So it's essentially preparing a project yourself. So I'm going to click on new project here. You can also find that up in the header as well. And from here, what I can do is I can upload a photo from my computer, one that I have taken of the home that I wish to begin designing with. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a photo in. We've got a little cabin up here in Alberta, Canada. And I'm going to use this uploaded photo here. So essentially what I'm going to walk you through is how to begin designing and preparing this home so you can start seeing different products on it. So the first thing that the visualizer is going to ask you to do once you've uploaded your photo is to set the project scale. And so what that means is essentially tell the visualizer how big certain products should look on the home. So the easiest way to do this is to measure out the entry door. So what we can do here is we have our cursor. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the top of the door, and that's going to drop a little bullet point for us and attach this little yellow bar to our cursor. And we're going to bring our cursor down to the bottom of the door and click it once more. So now we have the door from the top to the bottom measured out. That door is going to default to a 6'8" measurement, which is a pretty standard door measurement. If you know maybe the door is an 8-foot door, maybe it's a custom sized door and you know the measurements, you can always fill that information out here. But you know, for the sake of this project, 6'8" looks pretty accurate. So we're going to go ahead and continue. So now the scale is set for the project. Now we can go in and start tracing these certain areas that we want to see products applied to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply some siding to the top shake area here and a new entry door. And let's see what else here. And that should be good. Maybe I can put some roofing on as well. So maybe I'll start with the roof. So if I click on roof here, it's going to give me two options to my surface outline point. So I have a contour option or a rectangle option. So the rectangle option is pretty straightforward. Wherever I make a click, it's going to give me a perfect square from wherever I made that initial click. So for this roof, we're actually going to go ahead and do the contour option, which is more of a freehand tool. But that square rectangle feature is going to come in really handy when we do things like the siding or the door. So this contour, it's a freehand tool. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is click on one corner of the roof, drag this little blue line up to another corner. I'm going to click there again, drop another what we call anchor point. Click on this corner here. And essentially anytime I'm changing direction is when I am adding a new click. So I've traced out my roof. I can always go back and fix any areas that are maybe a little bit inaccurate. I can click and set the layers perspective. So this is going to show me which way the roofing products are going to run. So if I need to make any changes to that, I can go ahead and do so. But you know what? This looks pretty good. So this is telling me that these vertical lines here, the shingles on the roof are going to run that way, and horizontally which way they're going to run as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done on this. And I don't need to change any of these things yet either, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit done on this as well. So now we have our roof masked out. Now I'm gonna do this siding layer and the front entry door. So I'm gonna click on siding main. I'm gonna use the rectangle tool on this because it looks like a pretty even square. So I'm gonna click up in that corner. That's gonna give me my rectangle box here. And I've added it there. So it kind of hangs over this corner trim a bit so I can make my edits, as well as fill out this area. So you don't have to worry about getting the masking perfect right off the bat. You can always go back in and make your edits. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done here. And then I'm going to apply the entry door as well. So entry door, same thing. I'm going to use the rectangle tool. Click on one of those corners. And that's going to give me my box to work with. Go in and make my little changes there. Awesome, that looks pretty good. So we have our 3 layers that we want to apply product to mapped out, ready to go. So now if we were to go in and start applying product, essentially what would happen, for this siding, for instance, it would cover up the windows here, it would cover up the lights, and it just wouldn't, give that realistic view to the user. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the foreground tool. So the foreground tool is essentially used to eliminate any pieces of the photo that you don't want to see covered up by product. So, other than the windows and the lights here, a mailbox, for instance, maybe some trees they have in front of their home. This is used just to eliminate those elements so product doesn't cover them up, just to give them, like I said, the most realistic visualization experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the foreground tool to remove the windows and the lights here. So, before I do that, I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here. Let's see here. Let's apply some new shake. Maybe we'll do some olive green here. So as you can see, it's covered up the windows here, and it just does not look realistic whatsoever. So we're going to click on this little double square button here. So that's what we call the mask editor. So you can toggle on back to it. And I also saw that the door had a little bit of an overhang as well. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. There we go. Okay, so let's foreground out those items. So I'm going to go ahead and click foreground. It's going to give me the same options, contour or rectangle. For these windows, I'm going to use the contour option. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to start foregrounding these windows out. I'm actually going to zoom in. Up in the top here, you can see a little magnifying glass. So I'm going to zoom right in. I'm going to select the pan option, and I'm going to go over this toolbar in detail a little bit later. So I've toggled over to the window that I want to mask out and remove from the image here. So I'm essentially just going to start tracing around the area here of the window. And I'm going to stay slightly in the lines here, just so we don't have any color bleed through. And again, I can always go back in and edit any of those anchor points that I've laid down. This looks pretty good. Straighten that guy out, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and add to the surface because I have a couple more things that I want to foreground out. So I'm not gonna hit done yet, I'm gonna add to the surface. I'm gonna select my little pan button here, and I'm gonna pan on over to the other window and the 2 lights here. Click pan. And go ahead and start masking out the windows here, or I guess foregrounding out the windows. So again, staying slightly in the lines. And if it's not perfectly straight, that's okay. I can always go back in and edit. Perfect. Even if this is a little crooked on the bottom, that is okay because we're not applying any product below this red area. So again, instead of hitting done, I'm going to add to the surface. Now I'm going to add these little lights here. So I'm going to pan over. And for these, I can actually use the rectangle tool. So I'm going to start in the top corner. That looks good there. We're slightly in the lines. And I'll do the same for this other light here. There we go. And last but not least, I'll do this window here. And then we are ready to start designing. Go. Yeah, that should do the trick. All right, I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out here. And now we can go ahead and start designing. So now you can see that those items I traced around completely pop out of the product here. Looks very, very realistic. I can go ahead and apply an entry door here. So we got a single door, that's great. Don't have to worry about side light. Let's go a little lighter here. That looks pretty good. You know, I'm not much of a designer, but I'm liking this photo here. Perfect. So there we go. So we've mapped out this image. We've traced out the layers we wanted, and now we're able to go ahead and just start designing. So I know I threw a lot of information there at you guys. So if you do have questions on masking, feel free to throw them in the chat or in the question field there, and we can answer those there. So while I'm here, guys, I'll walk you through the new toolbar here, how to apply some products, and we'll just go ahead and kind of cover everything here. So, like I mentioned before, to hop back into the editor there, we can go ahead and click on the toggle mask editor. That's going to bring us back to our masking buttons. So the masking buttons were the different areas to click where you want to, start masking and applying product. And once you're done there, you can click on the design button, and that's where you can now start designing, applying products. So each different layer here, you're going to find on the side, what we call layer panel here. So you can go ahead and apply product by clicking on the different layers on the side, or actually clicking the different layers on the home as well. So if we wanted to apply some siding, I can click right on the siding that I've masked out, and I can go ahead and apply some product. Another great feature on the Waudena Visualizer is the palette feature. So Palettes are essentially a collection of different products that have been put together that you can easily click on and apply them to your home. So as you can see, I've clicked on day to night, which is a great looking palette. It's applied this blue door as well as this blue siding and the roof here. Maybe if I wanted to click on beachside drive. So it's just a collection of different siding, entry doors, roofing products, stone products. And these all look really good. That one, obviously we don't have a side light on our door, so that one really wouldn't work, but we can always, maybe if we like this palette, but we don't like the way the door looks, we can go ahead and click on the door and we can change the door out here. So we can change the configuration here. Perfect, just to show you there. So we can change that product out there. So the palettes are a really, really great feature to go ahead and just start designing. And what you can do as well, so say I've clicked on day to night here, but I want to change maybe the blue here on this product. Maybe I want to go a little bit lighter, but I still like the way that palette looks. I can click on add new palette. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow me to create my own palette. So now that it's saved a screenshot for me, and now on any home I'm designing, I can go ahead and click on that palette and apply those specific products. All right, here. So we do got some questions, and I thought I'll just go over them as we're in the masking portion. So let's see here. So Marvin with a great question here. Does this work using an elevation sheet from a set of prints instead of a photo? So what you can actually do, Marvin, that's a great question. You can upload photos of blueprints into the visualizer and start designing the exact same way I did with a photo. So as long as it is the right image type, so if it's a JPEG, you can go ahead and upload that right into the visualizer and start tracing around the specific areas you want to apply products to. So absolutely, you can use a set of prints there. Chris here, why did you stop masking the windows at the band board? How would you handle the, let's see, the wainscot where the chairs are? Great question. So hey, you know what? We can cover that as well. So if we wanted to go ahead and, mask these areas out here, and here I'll do wall accents. So I'm going to create a little rectangle here. And so same thing here, Chris, if we were to apply product, obviously it would cover up this little deck area as well as the chairs. So essentially what we would do is we would just go ahead and trace around the chairs here. As well as this deck area as well. So, we could do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the chair, the window. And I'll just do this quickly here so we can, see exactly what this will look like. I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit. So there we go. Now everything in red has been removed. We can always, any area that's not specifically covered up. There we go. And I mean, of course, these plants will be covered up here, but it'll still give you the idea here. So if I wanted to apply some stone there, those chairs and the little patio area has been removed using the Foreground tool. So I would just mask that area out as a wall accent and of course remove those photos or those chairs from the photo there. So hope that answers your question there, Chris. Gary here, since you gave the door a size, can it estimate how many squares? So that's a good question there, Gary. Essentially, you're measuring out the door to just give an example to the visualizer on how big certain siding products should look, roofing products, stone products, just to give it the most accurate look of those products there. And our developers found that the easiest way to do that was by masking out the door there. So it won't give you the squares, unfortunately. John here with a question. Let's see here. Same masking tool if we are changing trim. How can we show wider trim? Great question, Chris. So yeah, or John, sorry. Absolutely. So it's the same tool. To show wider trim, you're just essentially going to make your square on your trim just a little bit bigger. Hope that makes sense there. And Brian here. Let's see. Good. Let's see. Pretty sure this will be a hit. What's the difference between corner post and window and door trim? Do we need to outline each piece of trim individually? And can we share this with others so they can go in and play with it after we've masked the job? Awesome, awesome questions. So the difference between the corner post and the window and door trim. Let's go ahead and find out what the difference is. That'll probably be the easiest way here. So corner and window trim, that's what we have here. So let's see, I will just mask out a layer on the, on the little sidewalk here. So this one is the window trim. Let's go ahead and do the corner posts. And let's just see if there's any product difference. So this is what's included on the window and door trim. So the dual blend premium colors here and the solid colors. And on the corner posts, it's going to be the same color. So no difference there. You're still going to get the same colors. So this is just to kind of help you pick the different areas you want to mask out there. Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you so much for those questions. I'll keep checking in on them there. So we were looking at palettes. I created my own palette to apply some product to. I'll remove that wall accent here. So we can always go ahead and add some palettes quickly by clicking on the palettes tab, or we can kind of create our own look here using the product list and the different areas we have outlined. So as you saw when I was masking out the different foreground areas, I was using the zoom in and zoom out tool pretty heavily. So this is just great to show different detail on products, as well as if you're masking, you can really zoom in on a layer to make sure you're getting all the right angles there. And if you want to pan around the image after you've zoomed in, you can go ahead and click on these arrows here, and that'll take you around the photo. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out. And I'm just gonna work left to right here, guys. So to eliminate the product panel, which is this panel on the left, you can go ahead and click that button. That's gonna center your image perfectly there. And Brian, I didn't forget about the last part or question there. I'm gonna get to that in just 1 second here. So that's how to remove that product panel. If you wanted to take a look at the different areas that you've masked out on the home, you can go ahead and click this toggle outline button. And as you can see, the different areas are now highlighted in blue, letting me know where I've drawn the lines on this home, as well as on the driveway here. If we want to move over to the star here, this is the before and after button. So this is great if you're, maybe you're the homeowner and you're taking a look here and you really want to see before and after. That is the way to do it. The button next to that is the clear all products button. So it's an eraser here. If we wanted to strip everything off the home here and start from scratch, that's how we go ahead and do it here with just this little eraser button. So the next little button I'm going to show you is the snapshot button. So this is a extremely important button. It's extremely useful. So this is essentially to take a snapshot of the design that you have created here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot of the image that I have here. I'm going to go ahead and change out some product here. So we'll go for a pretty different look on this one. Take a snapshot of that one. And we'll do one more here. Again, guys, I'm the furthest thing from a designer, so hope I'm doing a half good job here. Right on. Maybe we'll change up the door here. Nice wood door for our cabin. Beautiful. So we've got 3 different designs of this home here. So we've got our snapshots. We can go ahead and click on any of them here, and it's going to take us right on back to that look. And these are going to come in handy in just a second here as well. So a great way to capture a couple different looks on the home. So this works really well if you're working with a homeowner who's maybe on the fence with designs and they want to see a couple different options. The snapshot tool is your friend in that case. So moving on to the right there, we have the save button. So this is to save your project, and that'll automatically put it in your in your My Projects folder. So if we wanted to download this image directly to our computer, we can go ahead and do that with the download image button. And I'm going to go ahead and click this print button. If we wanted to print out any of the snapshots we've taken, we can go ahead and do that. And as you can see, as soon as I clicked print, it loaded up my 3 snapshots. And we have set up as well as a design report button. So if we clicked on design report, the visualizer is going to put together this really sleek looking report here. It's got today's date on it, as well as this cool cover photo. And it's also going to give us our snapshot as well as a breakdown of the siding, the roof, the door here. It's going to give us the summary of the door, which is incredible. And it's going to do that for all of our different snapshots. So it's got our snapshot, our product breakdown. So again, this is a great feature to leave in the hands of the homeowner or whoever is making the final design decision if they're ever, having a hard time coming to a final design decision. And you can also print this off and send it as a PDF as well. Can you email the snapshot from the program itself, or do you save to computer and send it to them? That's a great question from Jeremy here. Can you email the snapshot from the program itself? Well, here, you know what? Let's get into that. So what you can do here is we actually have a social media sharing option. So Jeremy, this should address your question. So you can share the image to, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. You can also email it to a user. So if you wanted to share this with a user, and Brian, this kind of goes into your question as well, you can go ahead and share this project using the email function here. So it's going to email that project to a user who maybe wants to go in and start playing around with different designs. So once you're done your image, you can go ahead and select email and send that off. Each project you work on as well will have its own specific link. So this link up on the address bar here is specific to this project. So if I wanted to send this project to somebody, I can just send them the link here. They can open it up on their end and go ahead and play around with the image after I've masked it out there. So a couple different ways to share your image there. So if that answered your question there, Brian and Jeremy. The last little button on the right here is the help button. So if you ever get lost along the way and think, hey, what do all these buttons do? Go ahead and click on the help button and that will load up the different buttons here. Awesome, guys. Hey, we had a lot of great questions. And I know I threw so much information at you just now. So, the toolbar, how to apply some products, how to prepare an image. But you guys came back with some amazing questions. So thank you guys so much. So I'm going to go right on back to the home page here. And the next thing we're going to hop into is the design services. So, maybe you're in kind of a time crunch. You maybe don't have all the time to sit and prepare out an image of a home here. So you can always rely on our design services team who, they are professionals. This is their whole job, is they sit and prepare homes to have products applied. They're really up to date with their product knowledge, especially when it comes to Wausau, Waudena, Diamond Coat products. They know their product knowledge. They know how the product's supposed to look on a home. So if I go ahead and click on Design Services, we can go ahead and fill out our information. We can drag in our photo here and upload the photo to our design services team. There's also a little tell us about your project box where you can let our team know, hey, I want to see the home masked out this way. I want to see these products initially when I get the image back. And you can go into as much detail as possible. They love the detail. So you can go ahead and send a project off to them. So it's a $25 service. And yeah, you essentially just upload the photo, send it over to them. Within a couple days, you're going to get an email that's going to say, hey, your project is now ready to begin designing. And essentially what you can do, let's say we've gotten our email back, we've submitted our photo, we've been waiting a couple days. We are now able to jump in and start designing. We open our project link from our email. And now our photo is here and we can begin designing. And so this photo was obviously professionally prepared. The perspective is perfect on the stone here. Looks great on the siding. The trim is even masked out for us. So as you can see, the photo just looks great. It's the perspective on little things here like the stone. The stone is always running in the right direction. The siding panels as well. Just a really, really great looking photo. So this is kind of the service you can expect from our design services team. So if you find yourself in a time crunch or you just don't have the time to sit and mask out a photo, you can always send them the project, and for $25 they'll get that prepared for you and sent back. And last but not least, we'll go into my projects. So anytime you save a project here, this is where you can go ahead and find it. So as you can see, I have a couple different photos here that I've actually worked on the Wausau visualizer. And at any time here, I can go ahead and access them and kind of pick up where I left off there.